Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing an awesome deck profile of my Red Dragon Archfiend deck. Yes guys, this is a deck that I actually really like to play. I've profiled it a lot of times actually on this channel now, off and on, and it's such a fun deck and strategy. With the Resonator engine, they've made that into their own archetype, and in addition to that, they've made the extra deck into pretty much Red Dragon Archfiend cards, so you can synchro up very easily with this deck nowadays, which is awesome. But this deck is so cool and so fun, and as you can see, that is a Ghost Rare Dragon Archfiend first edition. I actually got this card years ago when this Dimensions of Chaos, I think it came out of. It was one of the last Ghost Rares you could get out of the main core sets. And I got it along with all the Red Eyes Darkness Metal stuff and all that cool stuff back then. So yeah, I've always really liked this deck, and I'm so happy they've made it into their own archetype. There's a bunch of different ways you can build this deck with some of the monsters in the main deck. There's a lot of pretty much, I think nowadays for the most part, people have figured out the Resonator, how many Resonators and which Resonators you run and what are the better ones and the ratios. I think that's pretty much set in stone now, I feel like, from playtesting. Once in a while I'll go back and try different things out with ratios, but I think for now, the Resonator lineup, no matter what, for most people is pretty good, but there are some good tech options you can run and spaces for that in this deck, which we'll get into. But first off, we run 3 A Wandering King Wildwind. This card was made for this deck, hands down. This card is so good. Staple 3 of, I think it's one of the main, actually the most expensive cards for your main deck, actually, for the most part, because of this card was made. It's hard to come by. It was only made in a Duelist Saga pack back in the day. But staple 3 of in this deck, really good card, will help facilitate a lot of your basic synchro plays in this deck, and it's easy to get onto the field because it can be special summoned fairly easily. Next up, we run 2 Red Familiar. Red Familiar is really good once you get your plays going. Some people like this as a 1 of or 2 of. I find that it's really good as a 2 of because once you get your synchro plays going, it's a great way to bring things back from the grave. So I do like it as a 1 of. I also run 1 Red Sprinter as well. Red Sprinter is a nice 1 of in this deck. Some people like running triple and double Red Sprinter if they're trying to focus more on that engine on the deck. Me, I like Red Sprinter as a 1 of. It's nice to have, but there are better cards to run nowadays, I feel like, and the deck functions fairly well overall by itself. But Red Sprinter as a 1 of is something I still do like in the deck as a 1 of. Next, I run 3 Crimson Resonator. This card came out, I think, like a year ago. This card is really good in this deck. Staple 3 of. It's one of your staple 3 of Resonators, I would say. There's pretty much there's 3 of those, but Crimson Resonator is one of those. The other one is your Synchron Resonator, which I feel like is a staple 3 of with most of your Resonators. And the last one is your Red Resonator, which is pretty much your Marauding Captain for your Resonator cards. These are the Resonators that I would highly suggest that you run as 3 ofs. Crimson Resonator helps go for a lot of your basic synchro plays. This guy, because he's a level 1 tuner, can be used for a lot of just things to get, you have a synchro out, you tuner up with this, you get into something else. And Red Resonator is kind of like Marauding Captain tuner with some additional effects, which is nice, which is a staple 3 of. So these are your Resonators that I would suggest that any deck that you build that is Red Dragon Archfiend, you would run these as staple 3 ofs. So that is for the main Resonators there. We do run some 1 ofs because they are still good and still useful. So we do run 1 Creation Resonator, 1 Chain Resonator. These are good 1 ofs in the deck, I find. You do not want to run more than 1 of each of these, I find, but I like them as 1 ofs in the deck. They're really good to help go for different types of situations, for synchroing up, for synchro climbing, etc. I also run 2 Perform a Play Hat Tricker. Hat Tricker is so good in this deck because you're going to have a lot of times where you have 2 Resonators on field, and then you can bring out Hat Tricker, and then you can synchro up, and then you can synchro climb again. very quickly from there because you had 2 Resonators on the field. So you can see how you can easily Synchro climb. It really helps out with that. I've had some people say maybe you should run Trick Clown, maybe Damage Juggler in this deck as just options. I'm debating about that. That is something I have played around with recently. I played around with it a year ago when I first put them in the deck, and I went back and tried them again a couple months ago, and I was like, I don't know if they would work, but if you want to go down that route, feel free to, because that is something I know some people do try to run in the deck. One thing I'm still running in the deck is 2 Stygian Street Patrol. This is a card that I may cut in the future, may keep in. I like it for its versatility to help special summon things out to the field. It's a good card to have on the board, and if you have a Resonator in hand, once it's a grave, you can banish it, and then you can bring another Resonator out from your hand instead of wasting a normal summon. So it's a good card in concept, and I do like it. And it's helped out a lot because I'll be like, okay, I wish I just had an additional normal summon for this one Resonator card. Okay, banish it, bring out the other Resonator, and go on from there. So I do like it in the deck. It's very easy to be used for Synchro fodder and getting into grave. So it's up to you if you want to run it or not, or play around with it, or try it. I'm going to keep it in the deck for now, but if there is more Resonator support that comes out in the future, I may cut the card. But that we have to wait for that to come out first. Next, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. I want some negation against your effects and etc. I was thinking about running Infinite Impermanence like I used to in this deck, but I decided not to. Instead, I decided to run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs because it's a generic hand trap that's going to hit just about every single deck out there, guys. So, yeah. You can run whatever you want to in this, slot for the future, but for me, I'm just running 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. 3 Resonator Call. I'm happy earlier this year they finally made this into a holo. I've been waiting for that day for probably 3-4 years since I've built this deck. It looks so nice as a holo. I'm so happy because it was a common, then they made it a rare, and I was like, okay, that's going to be the highest rarity we're probably ever going to get, and then they made it a holo, and I was like, yes! I knew exactly what deck this is going into, my Red Resonator deck, so happy about that. But staple card, this is going to help you search out, guys, all your Resonator monsters. So, all those Resonators we were just talking about earlier, all these things can be searched out easily through Resonator Call. So that's literally a 10th of your deck, 10th or 15th percentile of your deck can be searched out just by this one card. So, great card, staple 3 of in this deck, hands down. We also run 3 Resonator Command. This is a card that some people run as a 3 of, some people run as a 2 of. It's up to you. I'm running as a 3 of because I do have cards like Stygian Street Patrol, Red Sprinter that I can search out. So I like it for that reason. Some people like other combo cards you can run in this deck like Sky Scourge, which is the thing you could run because I can create tokens that you can synchro off and do things with. It's up to you. Like I said, there's different options, there's different tech options you can play around with and run. Me, I'm running this as a 3 of. I may run it as a 2 of in the future. Depends upon what ratios I'm running of other cards. For right now, I like it as a 3 of, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So, 3 Resonator Command. In addition to that, I'm running this new card that came out earlier this year, Burning Soul. This card, low-key, guys, the fact that it's also a quick play spell makes it even better. You may ask yourself, what is Burning Soul? Why are you running this card? Well, I'm going to read this card to you, and you may quickly understand why it's so good. If you control a level 8 or higher Synchro monster, add 1 card from your graveyard to your hand, except Burning Soul. Then immediately after this card effect resolves, Synchro summon using monsters you control as material. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, your opponent can't target Synchro monsters on the field with card effects. You can only use the effect of Burning Soul once per turn. Note, guys, that it says add 1 card from your graveyard. It doesn't it's not specific about a monster, a spell, a trap, nothing. It can be any card. That's so easy. And when you consider the fact that your basic Synchro pack plays, guys, are going to be easy, you can easily go into level 8 Synchro play and then go up from there. It's super easy to do. So it just helped with the combo, the way this deck combos. It was kind of made for this deck, it feels like, indirectly, because you combo so easily into level 8 and then synchro up from there that you're just literally getting combo extensions back. So, oh, I have this Monster Reborn engraved that I just, that I just used. I'm going to add it back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that with it. You see where this can go down the tree of that. It's such a great card in this deck. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I really like this card. I'm probably going to keep it in the deck for the time being. Try it out. You may want to run it as a 2 of instead of 3 of, but right now I'm running it as a 3 of, and it's been working out pretty well for me. I'm running double Tactics Talents. One of the things this guard deck needs a little bit, I think, in the future is maybe some type of draw power for it. And Tactics Talents is really good. You could run Call by the Grave in this deck as well if you want. But me, I want Tactics Talents because if things get negated, there's a lot of different combos you can do as you synchro climb. You are going to probably get negated, so you want to at least have some draw power so you can continue on your combos. So for that reason, I'm running Tactics Talents, which has been proving pretty good for this deck as a 2 of, and as it's going first deck, and if they have hand traps, you can negate that. You cannot negate it, but you at least get some. You can do different things and interact and disrupt your opponents. So I really like Tactics Talents in this deck. One Pod Desires. I know some people are going to say, why are you not running 2? Why are you not running 3? I like it as just a 1 of in this deck. You can cut it for Call by the Grave if you want to. But I do really need draw power in this deck. But I didn't want to run more than 1 Desires. Because Desires, while it's a good card, you don't want to banish some of the key pieces you have in this deck. Or risk that happening. So 1 Desires, it's nice, but it's not going to kill you. 1 Upstart Goblin, you don't care about giving life points. You go bring out these big bad dragons, just draw cards. 1 Foolish Barrel staple in this deck. I feel like there's a bunch of different things you can send to grave to set up for plays. And also 1 Monster Reborn, guys, because it's Monster Reborn. And like I said, you can re-abuse some of these 1-of cards very easily with Burning Soul if need be. So, pretty cool. Very generic cards that can be abused multiple times and that are not once per turn. Yay! Right? So, yeah, that's the cool thing. Next, we run 1 Red Rain. I'll let this card as a 1-of. Some people do not like it. It's up to you. I like it as a 1-of in the deck. It's just a nice card to have. I know some people who play Red Dragon Archfiend decks. They run this in triples and doubles because they want to build the deck specifically around this card. But as time has gone on, I like the card, but I would not run it more than a 1-of. Just saying. So that's just me there. So let us get on to the rest of the cards in the deck, guys. So next up, we are going to be having, guys, our extra deck. And for our extra deck, guys, we are running triple Red Dragon Scarlight Archfiend. Like I said, I got the Ghost Rare. This card is a staple 3-of in this deck, hands down. It's going to be one of your basic level 8 synchros that you will first go into. That's very essential to your different plays. In addition to that, you run also 3 guys, Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon is very important to this deck for your basic plays as well. So you using this, you also synchro climb into level 8, and then go from there. So these are your cards that you would definitely run as 3-ofs in your deck. We run 2 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. This is a staple 2-of in the deck. Some people like running it more than that, but I like it just as a 1-of. We're also running, guys, 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane and 1 Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend. These are some 1-ofs we run. And then we have some other boss monsters we run, like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. That's a good 1-of in the deck. As well as your boss monster, Red Supernova Dragon, that came out earlier this year. So this card's really good. This card's kind of one of the most broken synchros I've ever seen. But it's a staple 1-of in this deck. For your generic synchros, we run 1 Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. 1 Void Ogre, because it's super easy to go for Void Ogre, and it's very good. 1 BLs, which can be used defensively, which is a very good card to have in the deck as a 1-of. And then lastly, guys, we run our token, our Signer Dragon token, which I keep in this deck all the time. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I really like this Red Dragon Archfiend deck. Like I said, still playtesting with some of the cards in the main deck, but overall it's been very good and worked out pretty well for me. And This deck is super fun to play with. It's probably my top 25 favorite decks, like Scraps are and some other decks of mine, but it's one of those decks that I will always deck profile on this channel because I really enjoy playing it, and I love the way that it synchro climbs into bigger, badder synchro monsters. And it's also kind of like your Jack Atlas deck, deck, so it's kind of cool in that instance as well. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos and content, guys. And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and Seto Kaiba, I'm out of here. Remember to, guys, good luck dueling to all of you guys. Take care, everybody.